Welcome back, everyone, to the next installment of The Letter. We've had an interesting heart-to-heart with G, kind of, but then a heart-to-heart with Zach. We've set up, I don't know about a plan, but at least a basic course of action, and the sun hangs lower when I stumble back into consciousness and drag myself downstairs. Around this time, the patrons usually start to trickle into the main lounge until it reaches a peak around midnight. Today, however, it remains thin. But considering what day it isn't too worrisome for the kind of business G runs. He has always complained about the lack of a decent crowd on week start, although he doesn't really begrudge his customers for it. No one wants to start the week with a bad case of a hangover, after all, even him, which makes the concerned look he gives me come off a bit too odd. With the kind of danger we're in, this swiftly puts me on the edge, even before sleep completely fades from my mind.
Something wrong, G?
G hums, but there's an undertone of annoyance in it, despite his casual and open movements. And only after he finishes wiping a tumbler and carefully settles it face down on the table does he give me an answer. The way he stares back at me honestly makes me squirm. It feels like I'm being stared down by my primary school teacher for sleeping in class again.
Nothing much. Monday's still a slow day for this place. But you might want to check on your friends, kid. Looks like one of them woke up on the wrong side of the bed while you were out.
Another question forms in my head along with a small confused frown. Though before a single syllable slips past my mouth, Rebecca's irate voice rings out from some part of the main lounge. From the sound of it, it appears woke up on the wrong side of the bed is a complete understatement.
Alone? You know we can't just go in there.
But we don't have any other choice, Becca! There's really no other way. We have to go there. If you'll just...
Isabella, no.
That doesn't sound too comforting. Once Rebecca assumes that kind of tone in an argument with Isabella, it usually ends with one of them walking out, or both giving the other the silent treatment. It lasts for about a week at most if it's really bad, which really isn't what we need right now. I've hoped the bad blood from this morning will simply blow over, after all of us has gotten a decent rest. I should have expected things won't be the same with them as it is with Zach and me. Turns out sleep isn't just what some of us need. Even G appears to understand it. In spite of his efforts to look as unconcerned as possible, there's a tense set in his shoulders. A tense set? I guess his shoulders are set in such a way? A nervous edge lingers in his eyes, as it occasionally flickers over where Rebecca and Isabella's voices are coming from. He doesn't want to deal with this, especially at the start of another busy week. Neither do I. Things have worked out well between them before without Zach or... me meddling. But the imploring gaze G directs at me leaves me with no other choice. It almost feels like he's guilting me into doing something about it. I hate that it's working.
You know how I run this pub, kid. No fist fights, no cat fights, only good booze, bad puns, and off-key singing.
Did somebody say bad puns?
Go fix it before it blows up in your faces. I'd hate to throw two girls out of this place over a petty argument.
It's probably not as petty if Rebecca's already shouting like that, but I give him a nod nevertheless.
Sorry about this, G.
He hums something under his breath for an answer and waves me off, turning away and returning to his work without another word. Even with the lack of a sizable crowd, he likes to keep busy. We're the same in that regard. Can't remain still, always has to stay moving, doing something, thinking, whatever keeps the brain at work. I leave him to it shortly after. Rebecca's voice rings out once again, followed by Isabella's. But part of me wants to thank him for all the trouble he has taken for people he barely even knows. Once this is over, I should probably find some way. Way of what? I don't know. In the meantime, thank him. In the meantime, I have this immediate problem to fix. Gotta get to this before it turns into a shitstorm both of them will regret. And I know both of them will. For all of Isabella's complaints about Rebecca's bossy attitude, or how annoying Rebecca sometimes finds the other's childlike demeanor, it's a friendship they both cherish in their own way. Rebecca's already on her feet when I spot them in an almost deserted area of the pub. I'm willing to bet my entire life savings that people are staying away only because of the brewing storm. Rebecca can have quite the mood when she's crossed. I can't speak for Isabella, I rarely ever see her seething, but from what I've heard, it can be very unpleasant. The way she's glaring up at the redhead from her seat, regardless of how much the other woman towers over her right now, already says everything. Empty plates have been left neatly piled in one corner of the table they occupy, a conversation that turns sour sometime after a late lunch then. Good thing they're already done and nothing's left to be spilled. Because in the next moment, before I can approach and intervene, Rebecca slams her palm on the table, and you could hear the silverware and plate move a bit. It sends the silverware, clinking sharply against the surface. Isabella flinches momentarily. We both do, though she shows no indication of surrendering in the face of Rebecca's temper. Everything escalates from there.
You've already gotten us in enough trouble because of this let a ghost everything.
You're blaming me again!
And you can't expect everyone to fix your mess.
You keep on putting the blame on me, but you're the one who didn't listen. All of you! If you just listened in the first place, maybe this wouldn't have happened. But you're too busy acting like you know what's best for everyone, when in fact you're the one who's being selfish.
I'm the one who's selfish. Yet you're still going to do what you want anyway, even if the people around you are already beside themselves with worry. This is how you've always acted since we met, and I'm tired of it. Sometimes I wish you never even came here, because all you've given us is a headache.
You know why I haven't come here. My dad.
Your dad has nothing to do with this. It has always been you and your whiny, careless self that has always been the problem.
Maybe I should have stepped in earlier. Maybe I should have said something the moment Rebecca had slammed the flat of her hand on the table, or the second I've entered the area. Either way, it's too late to act. Harsh words have already been hurled between the two. Words more cutting than any blade, each and every one of it digging a wound too deep in the person they've been aimed at. For a long time, Isabella sits there in silence while Rebecca stands unmoving, arms crossed and breathing heavy. Despite the lack of words between them, they're both vibrating with anger, refusing to meet the other's eyes. Ever so slowly, the atmosphere in the room turns thick and smothering. A strained air no one in the immediate vicinity, including me, dares to break, until the ones at its center does so. Rebecca definitely won't. At some point in our friendship, she has grown to become a woman firm with her opinions. She's never going to back down from this, not when she knows she has a point. Isabella, on the other hand, there has always been a certain stubbornness in her. As frustrating as it is to see sometimes, it's what has gotten her through life's hardships. Perhaps even the only thing that has. When you have nothing else, people tend to cling on to what they have within themselves instead. But she also knows when to withdraw, when a struggle turns useless, a kind of awareness, almost second nature to her. When enough is enough, Isabella abruptly stands and marches toward the exit, in fast, rigid steps away from the hurt and painful words they have let fly earlier. She bumps into me in her haste, the impact nearly knocking her off her feet. Instinct kicks in at the last moment, and I reach out for her, grabbing her arm in a steadying grip. Surprise flits across her face, an expression mirrored by Rebecca behind her. Neither of them have noticed me. However, that doesn't mean I won't have things to say about this. Oh, wow! Well, this is where it all comes to a head, isn't it? Okay. Isabella found the letter, but there was no way to know that it was a magic spooky ghost curse, and we all made that very clear from the beginning. Isabella was the only one who had any kind of superstition. Rebecca is correct that this is technically Isabella's fault, but Isabella is correct that nobody listened, and Rebecca's just kind of deflecting the topic and arguing you're being selfish and this and that. This sucks because I actually want to side with Rebecca, although I feel that Isabella is more right in this manner. And Rebecca's just using this as an excuse to blow up. This is unfortunate. I am more on Isabella's side, so I could side with Rebecca, but personally, I, the player, do feel that Isabella's more in the right, because Rebecca's just, finding excuses to yell at people. I really don't agree with her on this one. And Rebecca took things too far. No, I think I have to take Isabella's side on this one. I want my relationship to increase with Rebecca, but, she's way off base on this one. I'm going to have to take Isabella's side on this.
Okay.
This is going to blast things out of the water. Yeah, I'm below the line now. Rather than answer, once her shock subsides, she merely averts her gaze and hastily wipes the tears off her cheeks, like she only noticed them in that moment. Then, without another word or even meeting my eyes again, she gently brushes away my hand and runs off, leaving an awkward hush in her wake. Rebecca soon slumps on the chair Isabella has just left, gingerly reaching up to press the bridge of her nose and breathing out a ragged exhale. She also does that. Arguments like this have always drained both her patience and energy, usually more than her rowdy students do, despite being no stranger to it. It's no excuse for her to say those things, though, and my disapproval must be clear enough on my face. When she finally glances back at me, her exhaustion immediately shifts back to annoyance, her mouth curving down to a tight frown. I cross my arm in response, waiting, a reaction verging on instinctive in the face of her irritation. Regardless of my opinions about this, I don't say anything yet, not until she's the one willing to talk. Another minute passes while we stare each other down, but eventually she breathes out again and relaxes her rigid posture.
What do you want, Ash? If you have something to say, just tell me, or I'm going back upstairs.
Did you really have to say it like that?
Well, how do you want me to answer her? Do you want me to just let her go there and do what she wants? I know you won't be too happy if I did that.
That's a low blow, Rebecca. Even for you. We all know she wasn't even planning on staying here this long. There was no need to bring it up if all you wanted to do was stop her.
Did you even see how she's acting? She's not a child anymore. Even my students can do better.
Becca, she'll listen if you'll just ask her properly. I know you mean well and you do have a point, but please be a little more thoughtful next time. Go think about it for a while.
By some miracle, the whole discussion ends right there. Rebecca elects to stay silent, or at least it's how it seems, when a minute or two passes and she says nothing. A rare occurrence when she almost always has something on her mind. Only an uneasy atmosphere hangs in the air when I finally decide to remove myself from the room. Yeah, I really get the feeling this is going to pay off in a real bad way later, but either way I had to choose somebody, right? Yeah, I am curious. I'm going to stick with this decision, I think, but what happens if I do the other thing? I'm actually just going to skip, I'm not even going to read it. I'm going to agree with Rebecca. I do end up on both sides with this one. Positive of the bar. Ooh, maybe I will read this one.
Let go, Ashton.
Rebecca has a point though.
I know, Ash. I just thought we'd find something in there. That if I go back, we'll get the answers we need. I found the letter there, so maybe, right?
It's not that I don't agree with her. Hell, I've been considering the same thing. It's the only lead we have, after all. But Rebecca also has a point I will always agree with, no matter how desperate I am. It's not going to be a simple walk in the park. Yeah, the game's gonna take us back to the mansion, though. Like, that has to be where it ends. So,
Okay.
I hope this doesn't screw me. I really don't. Or I really do, I should say.
If you have...
Did you...
Well, I know you won't...
That's a... we all...
Did you even see...
I know, go think about it.
She doesn't stop me. Instead, something inexplicable flickers momentarily in her eyes, one that quickly disappears until only a vague notion of it remains in memory. Yeah, that's gonna be betrayal of relationship. This is such a pain. I don't know which way to go with this one. God damn it. I'm gonna be a coward and go with Rebecca, even though I strongly disagree with how she dealt with this, just because I'm trying to min-max relationships and I'm a freaking pain in my own ass. Who knows what we might find in there? If she comes with me, I won't be able to guarantee her safety. She'll be in even greater danger. Hence, alone. Exactly as I have told Zack. If there's a need to go back to that accursed place, I'm doing it on my own. But I don't want to go on my own. Their well-being is my top priority. I'm not going to drag them in there, so I tell as much. No. Original decision. This is a stupid idea. Yeah.
Okay.
I really feel bad, like, hurting Rebecca
What
like
do you
this,
want,
but, like,
Ash?
everything about the other decision is terrible. I'm not doing it.
I know, go think...
Okay. I've caught a glimpse in the shift of what's inevitable. So much has changed throughout the years. We'll never be the same person we once were. I really feel bad about that. But, like, we can't go in there alone. That's suicide. And Rebecca was terrible in this argument. I'm sorry. I feel bad about this. I think I've screwed my relationship with her. Which really sucks. But I'm going to have to go with principle on this one. And if it's for the better, we've yet to know. I'm going to pay for this either way. A lull has descended in the main lounge once I return. G's nowhere to be seen. People continue to trickle out instead of in, and by the time I get back, only 2 tables remain occupied. Soon these people too will be gone, and the whole place will be devoid of anyone. Frankly, its current state already lends the place an entirely different vibe. Along with the soothing strum of strings and the steady beat of drums playing overhead, there's a calming sense to this. A far cry from times I've been here before. And perhaps it's for this reason why Isabella has chosen this place to retreat. She sits quietly in the furthest corner of the room, in one of the tables set right beside the windows. And the thing is, like, I wasn't even unreasonable when talking to Rebecca, although I will admit the condescension, like, be more thoughtful next time. That's a little adult to child, I have to admit. But Rebecca really was, like, not seeing the forest for the trees. Didn't you see how she was acting? Like, didn't you see how you were acting? So she's just quietly in the first corner of the room. G usually keeps the curtains closed around this hour, but a small portion of it has been pulled back, revealing the busy streets outside. The late afternoon light spills right through it, outlining her small form and pooling on the surface of the table where both her arms rest. My only fear is that whoever's below the line dies or something. Like, I don't know if that even makes sense, but, like, I feel bad about this business right here. In her hand, she flips a piece of folded paper, turning it from one side to the other without any purpose. Tons of people come over her shoulder and go, "What's that?" And then they're all cursed. The letter. A small frown creases her forehead while she stares at it, yet there's something oddly tranquil in the picture she has unknowingly painted. Something I can't bring myself to disturb, if only for a few seconds. It's one of those moments again. The rare ones, the ones where she's too still, too quiet. A complete opposite of her usual self, but it's these that often leave a mark. Not her cheery disposition or her lively attitude, but these short few seconds of wordless silence, when the softest sighs and the slightest movements sing louder. The smallest, minuscule things that tell you about the person and her strength more than any words can express. It's these that carve a vivid memory, no matter how brief it lasts. She glares at me annoyed, and just like that, all of it melts away. Gone is the stillness, replaced quickly by the teasing and friendly jibes. Back again to what we're used to, what's easy, what's familiar, where every truth we hope to convey regrettably goes unsaid between us.
You're going to destroy an important piece of evidence if you keep doing that, Belle.
I know we're just joking, but shouldn't she destroy it? But she's far from angry. A bit upset, maybe. Who wouldn't be? While I do agree with Rebecca, her words still hit below the belt. Yeah. Regardless, Isabella doesn't seem like she'll start shouting at me. At least compared to every other every other person I've aggravated, intentional or otherwise. Some light talk may just do the trick, and coax her out of this mood.
Come on. If you keep staring at the table like that, you're going to bore a hole on it.
In it.
I really don't want to owe G a new table. He'll pick the most expensive one and leave me begging on the streets.
She levels a quick glance at me, her expression dry and impassive enough to drain every color out of the room. It's as if I've just told her a terrible joke, correct? And she's expecting there'll be more of it. Probably. I mean, like, it's not even, it's as if. It's what happened. Really now. She needs to give me more credit than that. I mean, no, she doesn't. My jokes are funny when I want them to be. Yeah, but that's the thing, right? About the bad puns? When I tell a bad pun, I laugh at it. The people who hear it, the audience, their negative reactions are what's funny. They're like, the groan is what makes it worth it. I'm sorry, audience. The secret's out, but that's how it works.
I really don't care. I'd even take pictures and post them online. Go away, Ash. I don't want to talk right now.
Yet it sounds half-hearted at best. Like what's happening has already sapped every bit of energy in her, and all that's left are the words. Pretty soon those too will lose their meaning, and leave a hollow shell in their wake. It's already unusual to see her like this. Everything has already gone to shit. I'd like at least this one thing to stay normal. So, somehow we manage. We continue for the better half of the hour, talking, joking, with their short feeble responses and banter that never goes anywhere. But it's enough. In the grand scheme of things, amidst the chaos and death shadowing over us, it's these little inconsequential moments that matter. It's her smile, her laughter, when it finally rings, easy and free of her burdens.
Okay, I have another one.
Oh no.
I don't want to hear it, Ashton. Go away.
Yeah, not gonna lie, Ashton's jokes are not the best.
No, really, listen.
So a guy was walking down the street.
I know someone who talks like an owl.
Oh, I know this joke. She's gonna say who, and I'll be like, it's you!
Will you leave me alone if I bite and ask who?
She already knows. A pause. And then she frowns as realization slowly dawns on her. Oh, she didn't know. Confusion flashes fleetingly across her face before eventually settling on a grimace. Yeah, see, that's the joke. The Joker is the one who laughs.
Oh.
Suddenly, she hugs her arms closer to herself and looks away, perhaps in her best attempt to stay angry. Yeah, I would try staying angry too. To no avail. In a matter of seconds, her shoulders shake with laughter she's trying to contain.
You're awful, and I really hate you. Just leave.
It's contagious, her mirth. Soon I'm joining her in it, briefly forgetting every problem that is piled up and continues to weigh down on us. Laughing without reservation or care until only a familiar warmth lingers, once both our amusement ebbs away. Somehow with her, these things have always come easy.
Feeling better?
A little. You're still lame.
Yeah, but this time it was funny because it was lame. I gotta give it up.
But you're laughing right now.
Only because your humor is terrible.
There we go.
Right. Keep telling yourself that. I know it's funny.
You should hear the joke about the henway.
And you know what? If you've kept frowning like that, your face might have cracked. That would have been really messy and ugly.
If glares can kill, with the one she sends my way, I'll probably be dead by now. Seeing it directed my way, it only takes a few quick seconds for me to realize how she might have also taken my statement. How wrong and rude it might have sounded in her ears, however unintentional it was. I've never been good with words, but that's never an acceptable excuse, is it? What's a henway? About 2 pounds. Suddenly, taking the brunt of her anger seems less complicated than correcting or explaining myself. Nevertheless, I try.
What? God, crap. Damn it, that was so not what I meant.
Ooh, Ashton. Looks like now you've got egg on your face. I guess the yolk's on you.
I was just saying you look better when you're smiling.
What a save. Her glare doesn't even wane. In fact, I think it intensified. Like the brewing storm. In the face of it, under the sharpness of her stare and her annoyance, I do what any person with a good sense of self-preservation does. Tell the joke about the friend that talks like an owl. It worked really well just a moment ago. Keep my mouth shut and shift my attention elsewhere. The crowd outside looks very interesting today. Maybe I should...
Thanks, Ash.
Whew! She utters all of it in a voice too small, too quiet, but when I turn to her, only those words, her gratitude, resonate throughout the whole room. Not the soft clinking of silverware somewhere, nor the last strains of music fading into silence above us. Instead, it's the meaning behind her gaze as she holds mine that lingers. Steady, unflinching, and open, in the same way she looked at me all those years ago, with bright eyes and an expression softening into a tender smile. You could tell it's tender because it's not in relation to any of the crappy jokes we've just been telling. I didn't understand it then, how easy it is for her to wear her heart on her sleeve, how she never shies away from expressing herself, even among people she barely knows, how she can go through everything without losing herself. Now it's among the hundreds, the thousands that hang unspoken between us, trivial, little things, with worth still too big to put into words. Either because it's too early or because there's never really a proper time. For now, though, this'll do. Until the moment itself dwindles. Until reality pulls us back in, reminding us of the things we've set aside in its favor.
Isabella, about what happened with Rebecca earlier.
I should probably apologize to Becca. I know she only means well. And I said some really bad things.
You said she was the one acting selfish. She said she didn't want you here and that you suck. Like, that... I mean, go ahead and apologize because you were not perfect, but, like, damn, she should go first. The corners of her mouth quirk up, almost as if she's too ashamed of the things she said.
Don't worry. She can be pretty stubborn, but she'll listen. Especially to you.
You think?
Because Zach won't be with us anymore.
What?
I...
What? 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 Was that like a misplaced audio cue or something? Was this like if Zach died? Because, whoa, that is not what I'm reading on my screen right now. That, I seriously, that scared me for a second. I thought that was some kind of like meta, like scare from the game. That really got me for a second. Because I was thinking Deadly Premonition, like, you know, right? Isn't that right, Zach? I'm like, whoa. I think that was just misplaced audio. Wow, that was an unintentional spooky scare right there. You know what? I'll pick up this line. You're one of the few people she likes, is what Ashton said.
She won't stay angry for long. I can vouch for it.
Whoa. That got me. It wasn't supposed to get me. It wasn't supposed to be there, but that got me. She has a point, though. Isabella freezes. In an instant, the pleasant air around us dissipates. She shifts her attention back to her hands again, both clenched so tightly that her knuckles visibly pale.
I know, Ash. I just thought we'd find something in there.
We probably will.
That if I go back, we'll get the answers we need.
Yeah, to be fair, she wants to go alone, which is stupid. But on the other side, we want to go alone, which is stupid. So, like, I don't know what you want.
I found the letter there, so maybe, right?
It's not that I don't agree with her. Hell, I've been considering the same thing. It's the only lead we have, after all. But Rebecca also has a point I will always agree with, no matter how desperate I am. It's not going to be a simple walk in the park. Who knows what we might find in there? If she comes with me, I won't be able to guarantee her safety. Yeah, but if she doesn't come with you, then you won't be here when the ghost shows up. Like, we've established the ghost can attack us at any time and at any place. We should group up. She'll be in even greater danger. Not if we go by ourselves and the ghost attacks her right now. Like, it's already happened. Hence, alone. Damn it. Exactly as I have told Zack. If there's a need to go back to that accursed place, I'm doing it on my own. Whether or not the rest of them agree with this plan is inconsequential. Damn it! So we're doing this alone no matter what? Now I'm having second guesses. Now I want to go back to Rebecca and keep both of our relationships up and also do the stupid plan of going alone. So either way, we're going back to the damn mansion. Maybe I will do that. Because we've seen this conversation. Son of a... I'm doing it on my own. Well-being. Keep her safe.
You're not going back to that mansion.
But Ash, what about...
This isn't up for debate. Do you really think they'll just let you in? Do you really think they'll give a damn if you walk in there carrying that stupid letter of all things?
No, but there has to be something we can tell them.
Look, I really can't let you do that, Belle.
Ash, the people living in that place now, they were with me during the open house. They have to know. They're in as much trouble as we are.
I know, but it's risky. It's dangerous. We don't know what you might find in there. Or if you'll even find anything. What if you see her again? What if she goes after you? What are you going to do? For all we know, it might be a dead end. It's not worth it to put yourself in harm's way like that.
Just double check the relationship thing. Ugh, at least we're in the green, right? Isabella offers no response, not even a form of resistance. No further argument like I've come to expect from her. Uncharacteristic. Yet either way, we fully hurt someone's feelings. I feel like an asshole either way. Just a silence that stretches far too thin till the air in the whole room grows heavy. She merely averts her gaze and hastily wipes the tears off her cheeks, like she only noticed them in that moment. Then, without another word or even meeting my eyes again, she gently brushes away my hand and brushes off, leaving an awkward hush in her wake. There is no right answer here. Rebecca soon slumps on the chair Isabella has just left, gingerly reaching up to press the bridge of her nose and breathing out a ragged exhale. We've seen that already, too. Arguments like this, we've read this. I sit next to her. And it takes me back when all that mattered to us were grades and what kind of trouble we get into the next weekend. No curse, no letter, no ghosts, just us and wherever our imagination will take us.
Holding up?
Barely, but I'll be fine. It's probably just this curse thing getting to me.
That bad, huh?
Excuse me, you're stuck in this nightmare too. And then there's Isabella just being frustrating.
Yeah, you're one to talk, though.
You don't mean that.
She makes a face, having been caught in her lie before allowing a small smile to replace it.
Yeah, you're right. I don't. She might act like that, but in the end, she's still my best friend.
Yeah, I could tell.
I should probably apologize later.
Or now, before somebody dies. Like, I really am worried that whichever one I choose, the other one just dies because they just disappear.
Your fights never did last long.
They're always so petty these days. I just can't wait for this whole thing to be over. That way we can go back to how everything used to be.
Yeah, good luck walking back your low blow, buddy.
You know that's impossible.
A truth. And we both falter into silence in the face of it. Her mouth opens briefly, and I assume she's about to argue her opinion about it. Maybe say something contrary to it? See, now I'm having second doubts again, or second guesses again, because Isabella might just go off on her own, rashly. But if we agree with Isabella, Rebecca's gone. but she's not going to go off on her own, I don't think. But I have no way of knowing. But eventually she simply nods, breathes out, and relaxes her rigid posture. A rare occurrence when she almost always has something on her mind. Seeing it, a smile spreads across my face, knowing and perhaps a little pleased. It's one thing to know of change. Watching it play out in front of me is an entirely different matter. In that one exchange, I've caught a short, clear glimpse of what has shifted, of what's inevitable. So much has changed throughout the years. We will never be the same for we've read this. And perhaps it's for the better. Rebecca notices soon enough. Yeah, okay, this is new. Whatever she sees in my face startles her, causing her to jerk away.
Why are you staring at me like that?
Nothing. Don't mind me.
I know that look, Ashton Frey. That's definitely not a nothing. You wouldn't be wearing that expression if you didn't have something on your mind.
Really, it's nothing. It's just that when we were kids, you weren't really the kind of person who spoke her mind. Someone else always had to stand up for you. You've changed a lot, Becca.
What did you expect? It's been, what, 17, 18 years?
What I'm trying to say is, I think I like this version of you more.
This is gonna come out of nowhere, because, like, apparently we've been oblivious for 17, 18 years. A beat.
Except when you're mad, and you're yelling, and you're glaring daggers at everyone. You're pretty scary, you know.
Well, don't say that so casually. Also, if you're just going to complain, we might as well just end this talk right now.
See what I mean? Even Z-Man's scared of you. I'd bet my entire salary on it.
She swats at my arm, the gesture light and familiar. It causes us both to burst into peals of laughter afterwards. Either way, we just totally shoot somebody down and greatly increase the relationship with the other person. The only reason I'm going in this direction, because apparently we're making the same dumbass decision either way, is that I'm at least above the line with both characters. When was the last time we shared something like this? I can't even remember. It's nice, though. To have another conversation like this, to sit side by side simply enjoying each other's company. I'm not very fond of looking back to the past. Most of it means having to remember unpleasant things for me, but sometimes, coiled around the bad, there are good ones. And Rebecca's there for the most of it. Things may change, but her friendship is one thing I will hold dear. We may meet new people throughout our lives, but that doesn't mean I will care for her any less. Which makes this whole business with the letter even more urgent. While Rebecca's right, Isabella's reasoning also makes sense. Hell, I've been considering the same thing. Yeah. With what's at stake, I can't let this curse win, if such a thing even makes sense when dealing with the supernatural. Tonight, by any means, I need to go back to that accursed place. Alone. Whether or not the rest of them agree this plan is inconsequential, well-being... My apprehension must have been quite obvious in my face. In a sudden motion, Rebecca reaches out and taps my arm. Although she does it gently, it startles me nevertheless, and it's enough to put a worried look on her. For a moment she studies my face, eyes scrutinizing, searching. But before I can even avert my gaze, keep her getting a read on me, she straightens, her worry abruptly fading into a look of disapproval.
You have a plan in mind, don't you?
It's a simple yes or no question. I can easily lie, yet her tone completely belies everything her words mean. I may as well tell her everything. When all is said and done, she's still one of the few people I trust. However, every vein in my body knows she'll be the first one to disagree, put her foot down and stop me, and when she does, who else will be left to fix this? Zach? Isabella? Her? I do understand her concerns, but there are times when they are misplaced. This complication isn't what I need at the moment. But what am I supposed to say? What is she expecting to hear from me? What answer will satisfy her? She certainly appears like she's hoping for more than a yes or no for an answer I can't give at the moment. What else then? I'm gonna keep this decision, damn it. Keeping it, ooh. I think last time we told a vague answer it wasn't great.
I need to head off somewhere tonight.
Okay, that's a plus.
You don't need to worry about it.
That's a minus. I might as well help out anyway.
I need to head off somewhere tonight.
A vague answer. It's all I can offer, and hopefully this will be enough. It's not an outright lie, but that, though... I was gonna think, but that thought doesn't make me feel any less awful. Or maybe, but that, comma, though, comma, doesn't make me feel any less awful about this. It's worse when you know she's asking only because she's worried. Part of me wants to tell her, admit that Isabella's suggestion is exactly what I'm planning tonight. What good will it do, though? I've already told Zach one person is enough. I do hope that this turns into everybody deciding to come alone and we all happen to show up together. Hell, simply letting someone in on the plan makes me iffy. Broadening that circle and revealing too much would just cause another pointless concern. But someone has to be aware, at least of where I'm heading off to, in case things don't pan out. Expect the worst, even if I've only intended to do a quick survey of the place. In my own words, risky. Rebecca doesn't need to know the kind of danger I might be throwing myself in tonight. She should prioritize herself and her own safety first, before others. But it's never that easy with her, isn't it? Is it?
Am I allowed to ask questions this time?
You're asking one right now, aren't you?
To be honest, that's always my response to... Like, can I ask a question? You mean other than this one?
It's a serious question, Ashton. Yes or no?
You can, but I can't promise I'll answer them.
That's a nice way of saying no. You might as well just tell me to shut up.
You know I don't mean it like that.
Is there something I can do at least?
For an instant, I hesitate, pausing, fumbling for an answer. It's more difficult with her because all this time she still looks to me as if I'm the same kid from years ago. An asshole who lashes out. Who she depended on when she has yet to find herself. Who she turned to for answers, despite my lack of them. It makes me all the more afraid to fuck up this time. And in case I do, she's the last person I want to be with me. Getting her into trouble, getting her killed, is not how I want to repay the friendship she has so generously offered after all these years. My friends are not supposed to be the ones taking the repercussions of my mistakes. Those are of my own doing, of my own responsibility. Instead, we all take the repercussions of Isabella's mistake. A fear, a heavy weight on my shoulders they shouldn't be dragged into carrying. However, if there's one thing I can trust her with...
Stay safe. Keep the others safe. Watch over them while I'm out there. Make sure no one does anything stupid. You're good with that kind of stuff.
I'm a high school teacher, Ash. Not anyone's babysitter.
Tell that to the kid's parents, am I right? A grimace is on her face, but I know she'll do it, even without me asking for it. She cares more than anyone, more than what her fiery temper expresses. And it eases something in me, knowing the others will have someone like her here. Sure enough, after a stretch of silence, she eventually nods. She does not entirely agree with this, it's the distant look on her face, but she's willing to trust me on this. For now, that's enough. Either way, it's best that we simply leave things here for now. There's already an understanding, albeit something we don't both agree with. We both don't. No need to push it further. With a light, reassuring squeeze on her shoulder, I stand up as soon as footsteps shuffle from the next room. There, cadence slow and hesitant. Shortly, Isabella... Oh. When you talk about footsteps and cadence, I expected Zach. I really did not expect Isabella to just come back. We might actually resolve this. Shortly, Isabella comes into view, clutching her hands firmly in front of her and sporting the same uncertainty in her face. This is one of those things, I don't know how sophisticated this game gets with this kind of stuff, but if I were below the line with Isabella, would she have come back? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's nothing, but that would be interesting. She casts me a cursory look, then shifts a nervous one to Rebecca, who studies her with a curious gleam in her eyes. Their fights never did last long. Yeah, but like... This one, though...
Becca, are you free? Am I interrupting something? If it's okay, can we talk?
Her interruption could not have come sooner, and I'm all the more glad for it. Whatever kind of friendship I share with the two, this remains something for only the two of them, much like my own with Zach. I'm the outsider, they don't need me here. It's all the reason I need. So, Speedwagon walks off coolly. I mean, muttering an excuse and flashing Rebecca a quick knowing smile, I beat a hasty exit out of the main lounge and leave them to mend things on their own. Before Rebecca can say what's on her mind. Before the last frustrated glare she directs my way forces me to change my mind. It's another lasting image that firmly etches itself in my memory. One that spurs the conscience, among other things. I just hope I won't regret what I... Boy, is this on the nose! I just hope I won't regret what I've chosen for myself tonight. Boy, that is this entire installment in a nutshell. I hope I didn't screw this entire game up just now. Ugh. Galway Shaw's Monday night crowd, although small and barely occupies a quarter of the whole pub, provides ample enough cover for anyone who wishes to leave the place unnoticed, alone, going to the ghost house, but for now it is time to stop the installment. Well, we certainly made a lot of progress today, didn't we? Kind of? We didn't advance time that much because I apologize. I kept going back and forth between the options. They were tough. You have to admit, they were tough. In the end, I settled on min-maxing, but in a very, very pleasant twist, Isabella actually came back and it looks like they may hash it out. Rebecca and Isabella may actually settle this business. I really, really, really thought that one choice was going to damn the other person. Maybe I'm lucky. Oh my god, that was stressful. But whatever happens, it looks like we're going to the mansion on our own, but you know they're coming after us. You know they are. We'll see how this plays out. I hope I didn't make the wrong decision. Until next time, everyone.